Good morning. Ooh. Let's try that one more time because that felt good. Good morning. All right. Welcome to Emerson Unitarian Congregation, Universalist Congregation. We are so glad you're here. My name is Ed, and I'm a member of about everything that you can think of. But I'm your worship associate this morning. I offer a special welcome to those of you joining us for the first time, either in person or online. We are grateful you are here and look forward to getting to know you. As a Unitarian Universalist congregation, we affirm the inherent worth and dignity of each and every person through anti-racism, anti-oppression, support for the LGBTQ plus communities, and working for reproductive justice, voting rights, and other issues, as the world calls us to side with love. We seek to build a beloved community, not only here, but in our surrounding area. If you are viewing online, hi! We hope to meet you soon in the future, and for everyone here in person, you are invited to join us for social time following the service for light refreshments in our fellowship hall. The fellowship hall is on this first floor and is right behind the sanctuary, and you can ask just about anybody how to get there or just follow the kids, and they'll get you to that. There will be worship reflections after our fellowship hour, right here in the sanctuary, where we get a good chance to have a discussion about today's topic, and additional offerings are listed in your order of service. And now, we pause to light our chalice.
Once upon a time, when women were birds, there was the simple understanding that to sing at dawn and to sing at dusk was to heal the world through joy. The birds still remember what we have forgotten, that the world is meant to be celebrated. Terry Tempest Williams.
And now, in the spirit of love and beloved community, let's greet and welcome each other to this new day as we share our congregational affirmation. We need not think alike to love alike. In the spirit of love and of the beloved community, let's greet and welcome each other to this new day. Those in the sanctuary, feel free to move around and to offer greetings for those online. Please use the chat to introduce yourself and to say hello. Okay.
Good morning. Well, everyone knows my name is Art Wickman, and I'm here serving as the chair of the Green Sanctuary team. I'll be joining several other members of the Green Sanctuary team who you'll get to meet as they come up for various activities. In today's service, we're celebrating Earth Day a few weeks early this year due to our own scheduling conflicts that are later in the month, so we can't do it on actual Earth Day. The Green Sanctuary team works to create a world that is viable and just for humanity and the whole web of life, including present and future generations. To achieve this vision, Green Sanctuary promotes environmental education, energy conservation, the celebration of our spiritual connection to the environment, and environmental justice. We would love to have any Emerson members who share these interests to join us in our work. And we'd love to have you all join us on Saturday, April 27th at 4:30 to watch the documentary Once You Know, and to discuss the documentary over a potluck dinner, of course. This documentary takes the analysis of world's leading climate scientists and translates scientific findings into the decisions we make in our lives. The documentary will provide the basis for a meaningful discussion of this important topic. So that's Saturday, April 27th, later this month, 4:30 in the afternoon. You can sign up, please sign up in Realm. For more information, see the flap in today's order of service. Gives you a little more information about what that documentary is. So today's service is Earth-centered, and we have as our guest speaker our own Emerson member, Sarah Drew. Sarah is currently a candidate seeking accreditation as a Unitarian Universalist minister. She completed her Master of Divinity from the Candler School of Theology at Emory University, and during her studies, Sarah served as a ministerial intern at Emerson with our previous minister, Deborah Bennett, and she subsequently served as our office administrator. Sarah has been kind enough and patient enough to collaborate with Green Sanctuary team on today's service. Her topic today will be an exploration of the lessons we humans receive from nature. And now, as you are willing and able, please join me in singing hymn number 163, that is For the Earth Forever Turning. Please rise in body or spirit.
Now we pause and reflect on matters of the heart. Christy, you're going to join me? Thank you, Christy. For this morning's ritual, we have water and we have river stones, and the stones are smooth and the stones have weight. They're indicative of both life's pleasures and times of ease, as well as life's burdens and times of heaviness. The water receives these stones with ease and calmness. Each week, you are invited to write a joy, sorrow, or concern in this book, which is at the back of the sanctuary. Or you can email your concern to pastoralcare@emersonuu.org to be read. If you're online, we invite you to recreate this in your home, and you can place a stone in a bowl of water to honor what is in your heart. We begin by placing 3 stones, one in honor of the Cherokee and Muskogee nations of indigenous peoples who lived here before us, and one for those wrongly enslaved here who labored on this land, and for all those hurting in current conflicts across our globe. And within our community, we share March Price and Jim Huey. We are deeply grateful to the many Jims in Emerson. We have great appreciation for the AV team. Claude Fravian, Keith Eklund, Josh Johnson, and Diane Kaiser. You provide real-time access via Zoom to Emerson Sunday services for those of us who find it difficult to attend in person. Thank you for the time, the energy, and skills you donate to this community, as it allows us to feel connected to the Emerson congregation in a profound way that would not be possible otherwise. With respect and gratitude, for each of you, Jim and March says, me. We miss you. And we do have a wonderful AV team. And if anybody's interested in joining that team, I'm sure you can see Chief Eklund or you can see me and I'll hook you up. But there are oftentimes things that we don't, or actually, I guess I should say don't get written in the book. We've got a brand new UU baby in the house. The Housemans and their brand new baby are in the house. Stand up, stand up. You got, you got to see that baby. Oh my goodness, looks just like me. I mean, hair-wise, okay. We know that there are joy, sorrows, and concerns that are too tender to express. My former wife, the mother of my children, her second husband died last night, and Kathy and I are trying to help her process that and get through. And just hold Kathy and I and Connie Woods in your thoughts and concerns and prayers. In thankful awareness, let's say the Buddhist prayer of loving kindness. Please read the words with me that are printed in the order of service. May we all be filled with loving kindness. May we all be free from harm and suffering. May we all be well in body, heart, and mind. May we all be at peace. Blessed be.
Yes, the rocket is back. Good morning,
Morning, everyone.
I'm Claudia Hebert.
And I'm Dave Schimmel.
We are in charge of the fiscal year 25 stewardship campaign and are working to make sure we have the funds to support our budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st.
From compensation for our wonderful staff to building improvements and utility costs, we have a lot to cover, and we need everyone to be all in for our future.
As of last night, we have received 83 pledges totaling about $250,000. That's a good start, but we have to do more.
Yes, we do. We're expecting about 40 to 50 more pledges based upon people that pledged last year and people that participate, and we need to raise about $50,000 to $75,000 more.
That is doable if everyone who has yet to pledge takes just a few minutes and makes their pledge.
So, you can pledge on Realm while in your car, or on a boat, or on a star.
You can write your pledge upon a form with pen and ink while in a storm.
You can make your pledge quite large or small, and we will gratefully accept them all.
We are hoping to finish the pledge this week so finance can finish the budget.
And if they have all of the pledges real soon, they will not have to fudge it.
And that,
Friends,
is how we can be
all in for our future.
If you need If you need a pledge form, they're in the back of the sanctuary on the counter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Karen Anderson Cordova, and I am a member of Emerson Social Justice Leadership Team and also the Green Sanctuary Team. One way we put our prayer of loving kindness into action is by partnering with other organizations who work to bring love, kindness, and justice to the world. Our Share the Basket partner for April is the Chattahoochee Riverkeeper. The mission of the Chattahoochee Riverkeeper is to educate, advocate, and secure the protection and stewardship of the Chattahoochee River, including its lakes, tributaries, and watershed, in order to restore and conserve their ecological health for the people and wildlife that depend on the river system, and in recognition of the important ecosystem functions provided throughout the region and planet. Established in 1994, the Chattahoochee Riverkeeper employs a variety of strategies to protect and preserve the river and its watershed through 6 core program areas: floating classroom, water planning and conservation, water quality monitoring, enforcement, legislative work, and in-stream trash removal. Many of these strategies provide opportunities for interested individuals and organizations to learn about the river and to volunteer their time and expertise as applicable in various activities to ensure its protection. We are pleased to acknowledge the strong connections Emerson has had throughout the years with the Chattahoochee Riverkeeper and the organization's decades of work protecting the river and its watershed. Donations will now be taken. For those in the sanctuary, as a basket is passed, please feel free to offer a donation or check in your order of service for other ways to give. For those online, go to emersonuu.org and select the Giving tab to donate. All donations unless otherwise specified are shared equally between Emerson and our partner organization. Thank you.
Nope. There we are. Good morning. Would the young and the young at heart like to come join us for our story for all ages?
So, Michael, you actually have to demand that they come. There is no choice. Okay, so today we're going to share a very good story with you. And as you can see on the cover, it won a Caldecott Award. That medal means the pictures are very nice, as opposed to a Newbery Award, which means the dog on the cover does not make it to the end. So this is We Are the Water Protectors, written by Carol Lindstrom and illustrated by Michaela Goad. So this book, I've been told, is banned. Is this true? So I think we're actually supposed to burn it. Is that right? Are we supposed? Okay. You're supposed to be upset about that. Read it. Read it. Are you sure? Okay, fine. Okay, I won't tell anyone if you won't. Okay. Water is the first medicine, Nokomis told me. Can we turn the page? There you go. Water is the first medicine, Nokomis told me. We come from water. It nourished us inside our mother's body as it nourishes us here on Mother Earth. Water is sacred, she said. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. The river's rhythm runs through my veins and runs through my people's veins. My people talk of a black snake that will destroy the land. Spoil the water, poison plants and animals, wreck everything in its path. When my people first spoke of the black snake, they foretold that it wouldn't come for many, many years. Now the black snake is here. Its venom burns the land, courses through the water, making it unfit to drink. Take courage. I must keep the black snake away from my village's water. I must rally my people. To stand for the water, to stand for the land, to stand as one against the black snake. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. It will not be easy. We fight for those who cannot fight for themselves, the winged ones, the crawling ones. The four-legged, the two-legged, the plants, trees, rivers, lakes. The earth. We are all related. Tears like waterfalls stream down, tracks down my face, tracks down my people's faces. Water has its own spirit, Nokomis told me. Water is alive. Water remembers our ancestors who came before us, she said. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. We are stewards of the earth. Our spirits have not been broken. We are water protectors. We stand. The black snake is in for the fight of its life. Which, you guys get a bonus here. Yeah. Okay, so you guys, so is that a real story or not? No, I'm seeing some shaking heads. You can talk, it's okay. No? Did that really happen? Is it really happening? Probably Smart boy. Right here, Clark. Okay. Yeah, so this is... Okay, you said it looks like a pipe. Very cool. Yeah. And it could be spilling chemicals. Okay, Clark, you got it all figured out. Yeah, so this is talking about in 2016 the Dakota Access Pipeline, which ran through the land of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. And what started as a small movement, just a couple of people camping out, eventually turned into a bigger thing where you had people from all over the world and tribes all over the world coming to protest it. So the pipeline still got made. And even before it was built, it was still spilling oil and contaminating water. But hopefully, you'll be inspired to do what you can to protect our planet and help keep it safe. Because Mini Wichoni is a word I just learned. It's water is life. It's the coda. Okay, so now we'll stand to burn the, we'll stand. No, don't burn the book. We're going to stand for a song of dedication.
Thank you. That was beautiful. And thank you all for having me this morning. Let me just get situated here. One of my earliest memories is of my mom explaining to a probably 4-year-old me that if you pick flowers, they will die. I had a handful of buttercups and daisies, maybe some Queen Anne's lace, all wildflowers or weeds, depending on your viewpoint. She was not telling me not to pick the flowers, or even that I shouldn't have picked so many, but rather to consider if what I had already would be enough before plucking more from the earth, cutting off their connection to life, and in fact, our connection to being able to enjoy them longer. Stewardship. We had been in my grandmother's backyard, which was a farmhouse with a rotating crop in the backyard, or beyond the backyard. Some years it was sweet corn, and I would run through the stalks trying to get lost and found and lost again. Until, of course, I became aware of the scary movie Children of the Corn. Then I started to keep some distance. There was a big barn next door with 3 stories of hay to jump in. There was always barn cats and kittens, which were the light of my childhood, fueling a cat ladiness that continues until this day. There was a pasture across the street with black and white cows that always had a calf or 2 with them in the spring. There was a horse chestnut tree in the front yard where cicadas would leave their shells as they emerged, and my uncle taught me to attach the shells to my own finger and present them to the unsuspecting. Not very popular activity in my family, well, except for me. One day when I was almost 7 or 8, I was in the kitchen of the farmhouse, and a different uncle came in and announced to the family that it was raining in the backyard, but not in the front yard. I looked at him quizzically, trying to work out exactly what he meant. He said, "Go look." I went to the back door, stepping out onto the patio to find raindrops, just like he had reported, darkening the pavement beneath my feet. I took a hard right, circle around to the front yard, and he was right. There was no rain in the front. My next job was to find the exact point it stopped, so that I could, like anyone who has visited a state line knows, stand half in the rain and half out of the rain. If that first memory might have instilled stewardship in me, this one instilled wonder. Rain is common, sure, but the edge of rain? That has obviously stayed with me. Many years later, about 10 years ago, my partner underwent spinal surgery that did not go as expected. The recovery was hard and sad for him more than me, but I too was exhausted and grieving at this unexpected turn things had taken. Before surgery, I had planned to go on a little trip to see some friends, and when the time arrived, it was time to go. It was just a month or so after surgery. I didn't feel like I should leave. I went back and forth, and finally I determined it was okay. My friends had moved from New Jersey to Florida, and I hadn't had a chance to see them in a while. I was going to spend a few days at their house and come back, no big deal. They had moved to St. Petersburg, Florida, and either I did not realize that they lived close to the beach, or I did not realize how beautiful the beach would be when I got there. But when we eventually got there, I was in awe of the crystal blue water, the white sand. The sun was shining, and the water was perfect. And as you can imagine, my ultra-fair skin does not permit me to stay in such places for very long, but I did not want to leave. As I swam, I felt the stress and the worry and the heartache melt away. It moved things just enough to move me back into my life. I have wondered many times since that day where I would be without the Gulf of Mexico or those friends that took me there. You may have heard the quote, the cure for anything is saltwater. Sweat, tears, or the sea. And that is by Isak Dinesen in 7 Gothic Tales. I have thought long and hard about exactly what happened there. What did that water do for me that day? And in some ways, I think that however I try to define it or quantify it will do the experience a disservice. All of these stories and so many more boil down for me to magic. Flowers are magic, or God, or spirit, or love. The existence of flowers is a gift well beyond the germination of a seed that grows into a plant that uses the energy by process of photosynthesis, nutrients from the soil, and gathering water by its root system. There is certainly scientific reasoning that accompanies nature and our reaction to it. And there's also the smell of a rose, the deep breath of a wide open space, and the imagination that is provoked from a cloud or a star-filled sky. This response to tomorrow's eclipse, our own minister, Reverend Christina, and so many others in our congregation traveling to catch a glimpse at this once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon. There is an astrological explanation, and then there is the spirit filling of standing on a street corner, sharing a pair of cardboard glasses with the mailman, looking up at the sky, which is what I was doing during the last eclipse. It's overwhelming to be given such a gift, and it's also overwhelming to save such a gift, considering the dire straits we are in. Global warming, pollution, continued excavation and commodification of the Earth's resources. We know we are in trouble. And yet, just yesterday and the day before, Friday and Saturday, I was able to attend the Science on Spiritual Health Symposium. I was so inspired by many of the speakers, but particularly from a speaker whose name is Marcus Briggs Cloud. He is a founder and of the Muskogee Eco Village, whose name I cannot pronounce, but I'm happy to give you the name of it so that you can look it up if you're interested. Marcus is a member of the Muskogee Creek tribe. You'll recognize that tribe as being the one that originally lived here, cared for this land that we are on, and most of what is now what we call the states of Georgia and Alabama. When the tribe was displaced, they were forced to Oklahoma, where they are headquartered still. Marcus is driven by preserving the language of his people and understands that the language is dependent on the spirituality of his people, which is dependent on the earth. He taught me that often with indigenous language, and is the case with Muskogee Creek language, indigenous languages have far fewer words than English. So when looking to preserve these native languages, the drive often is to add more vocabulary to make it usable in today's life. For him, that's fraught, because if, say, the Muskogee Creek language has 50,000 words, and you're trying to give it the bulk it needs to compete with the English language, you're adding 100,000 more words, which really just waters down the experience of the Muskogee Creek language, and we can't help in creating those new words, doing it from our colonialized perspective. And so his take is different. He wants to make those, I'm approximating, 50,000 words work instead. In order to do that, he surmises the environment has to be one that can be identified, discussed, and understood with those 50,000 words. In other words, for the native language to work and be sustainable, the conditions the language is used have to match the conditions in which the language was developed. The ways in which they are going about this are absolutely astounding. They have, after long consideration, returned part of their community from Oklahoma to a parcel of land in Alabama, a place true to the origins of the tribe. They have built a school and a shelter from resources on the land. They have fostered and reintroduced a native sturgeon population that had long since been extinct in that area because of man-made dams. They raised native pigs and goats that had been set aside long ago in favor for higher meat-producing and less germ-resistant options. They have buffalo that graze on the native grasses that they have planted. Their water system collects rain, uses gray water to support vegetation, and uses black water to produce methane that they use for cooking. They work cooperatively 7 days a week and are given $400 per person per month. That is an intentional number so that they limit their ability to partake in capitalism. Every single thing they buy is researched to determine its origin down to the pieces and the parts. This was of particular issue when they decided to buy an HVAC system. It took a long time to find one with acceptable origins, one that didn't harm the land in an irrevocable way, or wasn't working against the fights of other native tribes across the globe. A welcome byproduct of this work has been the health effects for the elders of the eco-village. So many of them, after living closer to the land, working and eating what is provided by the village, have been able to become healthier, more vibrant, and hopefully extend their lives. Marcus recognizes that that alone will impact the longevity of the native language. You'll remember that the language is dependent on the spirituality, which is dependent on the earth. So all this laundry list of things I've listed seem like off-the-grid problem solving, and they are. Not one of those actions was considered, begun, or followed through with without prayer and ceremony and intention. These may look like architecture or farming or intentional consumerism, but they are also sacred acts. Sacred acts. I wonder what changes for each of us when we reframe the choices we make each day from chores to opportunities for sacred acts in service of the gifts that nature has given us. In this room, we will have different choices to make, given our levels of access and financial capabilities and time and wherewithal. And sadly, we probably won't start an eco-village unless you do want to start an eco-village. And then I just want to say for the record, I am in. But we do all have choices to make. Recycling, plastic, especially single-use plastic consumption, the sustainability of our food or energy resources, and as Marcus Briggs Cloud teaches us, the consideration of every single thing you buy, its origin, or how long it will last, the practices of the company that is selling it to you, how they treat their employees, where they are going, what they are going to do with your money, and their relationships to political decisions. Would you buy that iPhone or chicken or t-shirt if you saw with your own eyes what happened all along the way to get it into your hands? And maybe you would. But like picking the flowers, if we recognize what we're doing, how our choices impact everything else, we can begin to be stewards of the gifts that have been given to us. And luckily, it doesn't all have to be doom and gloom. When I first moved to Georgia, I felt pretty out of my element. I'm originally from the Northeast United States. I didn't recognize some of the birds and plants. The grass is different. This red clay made me wonder if I had moved to Mars. I took a Georgia Master Naturalist course at the Chattahoochee Nature Center, and every month for a year we looked at a couple different facets of Georgia's natural landscape. Rocks, trees, birds, mushrooms. I loved it. The most astounding thing I learned is that Georgia is the most geographically diverse state in the United States. And as a side note, I looked this up just to make sure I had the details right, and it's in the Georgia State School curriculum for 2nd grade. So it might not be astounding to you, but it's still astounding to me. You might have known it for a lot longer. Try to see it through my innocent, childlike eyes. Anyway, the tectonic plates that crunched up together to make the land that we call Georgia encompasses 5 distinct geographic regions: the Appalachian Plateau, the Valley and the Ridge, the Blue Ridge, the Piedmont, and the Coastal Plain. Got 2nd grade confirmation in the audience. Most states only have one of geographical region. We have 5. Sometimes they have 2. We have 5. And that means the kind of plants and animals that are best suited to each area will vary wildly across just the state of Georgia. I bring that up because one of my favorite ways to do something that both this sustains the environment and reminds me that nature is a gift is to explore and plant and maintain the use of native plants. I know so many of you are gardeners, and I know this land right here that Emerson is on is cultivated and cared for by so many of you. We know it supports the relationship of countless little people. Native plants, meaning the plants that are indigenous to an area, are important, perhaps particularly in Georgia, where the edges of these 5 different areas are closer than in most places, because they are the plants that naturally support the soil structure, the insects, the animals that call this place home. They're an important building block of our ecosystem. And yes, you can be overwhelmed, and perhaps you should be overwhelmed, perhaps I should be overwhelmed at the state of what humanity has done to this earth, but you also have agency. And if the eco-village seems a bridge too far, perhaps planting a passion flower is more doable. If you've never seen a passion flower, they are otherworldly. They look like, to me, alien moonflowers from a science fiction movie. They are bright purple with a center stamen and hundreds of wiry, zigzaggy petals radiating from the center. I brought this book because the cover has a passion flower, if you can see it from where you're sitting. That's cool enough, right? It's native. It looks like it's from the moon. I'm on board. It's also a medicinal plant. They are a relaxant, helping to combat the stress of everyday life. They can assist with tension headaches and soothe tight muscles. I learned in my own herbal training that passion flower is most effective for people who lay awake at night thinking. So maybe if that resonates with you, or planting or finding some passion flower is not in your future, perhaps a cup of tea instead. The real thing I think it comes down to is feeling that as if our choices matter. Life on every level can be so tumultuous, from the minutely personal to the global and every step along the way. It is easy to find what is going wrong. Painful perhaps, but easy to throw our hands up and wonder how our tiny drop of intention and care can in any way sway the tide of what seems an inevitable end. But there are success stories too. Even among the turmoil, humanity has made good choices, stuck to them, and effected real change. And we could do it again. The 50-year anniversary of the Endangered Species Act has just happened, and it has been unbelievably successful. I was given an article by Peggy Gastrite, thank you, Peggy, and I recommend it to you too. It's from the Sierra Club magazine in the winter 2023 issue, and it's an article written by Carl Safina. He outlines the successes of the act, namely that 99% of the species covered by the act have been saved from extinction, and 100 species have been downlisted or recovered altogether over 50 years, from almost extinct to recovered altogether, 100 species. The American alligator, the grizzly bear, the black-footed ferret. The author of the article urges us not to think that this is enough. It is wonderful, but it's not enough. We have a Clean Air Act and a Clean Water Act, and instead of an Endangered Species Act, he wants, and I agree, a Healthy Species Act. He can see the steps forward toward a day when we protect habitats and natural food sources so that species are not extinct or reaching extinction to begin with. I am encouraged by that, and I hope you are too. I've sort of mapped out my own understanding as reverence leads to gratitude, which leads to reciprocal care. I was inspired to think about that from my first dunk in the Gulf of Mexico. And thinking about that made me think of Mark Horn, who I would be remiss not to mention this Earth Day, our beloved Emerson member who passed away recently. He was so reverent of nature, spending so much of his time hiking, contributing to the efforts to be ecologically minded here with the Green Sanctuary team in this building. And then I was thinking, oh, of course you're thinking of Mark Horn with this Earth Day talk. And then I was thinking, oh, maybe I'm calling Mark to help me because I'm thinking about him for another reason. And that is his unfathomable confidence in my ability to play a musical instrument, which is about to happen here. So I hope he'll continue to be with me for that part. I thank you for listening. I'm going to move to a little meditation. This is my new favorite thing. It's called an ocean drum. It sort of replicates the sound of ocean waves. And what I'm going to try to do is give you not a couple minutes, I'm going to give you a little introduction, and then I'm going to stop talking so you can enjoy the sound of the waves, and then I'll come back with a little talking. So if you want to make yourself comfortable, sit intentionally, maybe reach your right ear towards your right shoulder, your left ear towards your left shoulder, wherever tension you can sort of shake off to begin with. It's perfect. And then you'll close your eyes if that's comfortable, or maybe find a downward gaze. You think of the ocean, and you think of the many things it gifts us, sound being just one. Think also of how we're connected to it, and how we are little representations of oceans walking around with the ebb and flow of work and emotion and breath. And see if you can be soothed by these sounds of ocean waves. you might notice how you feel for just a moment. Taking another intentional breath. Coming back to the room. Please join me for our closing hymn, which is number 318, We Would Be One. Thank you. Thank you so much to the choir and Bruce, the Green Sanctuary team for allowing me to collaborate with you, to Ed, and all of you really for just joining with me this morning. And this is sort of preemptive for Earth Day because it's not coming right up, but it is coming. And so I'm hopeful that this moment, this day, will allow you to reach Earth Day having a couple weeks of thinking about the lessons that nature has taught you, the things that you love, the moments in your life when you were really inspired by nature. And I feel like I'm hopeful that starting there will inspire some meaningful, fruitful work. Thank you.
Let's give it up for Sarah. Oh my goodness, such talent. I've got a couple more thank yous I'm going to give. Stay right there, okay? To our marvelous choir, even without our choir director this morning, under the direction and accompaniment of Bruce King, let's give it up. And to this Green Sanctuary team that, you may not know what all they do or what all they've done. I mean, energy efficient lighting, lights that go off automatically, plumbing and fixtures that monitor the water and keep the water usage down, to implementing, installing all new heating and air conditioning efficient units. You know who did that? The people in this congregation, and partly because of the inspiration from this Green Sanctuary team, and they're working on trying to get solar. Let's give it up for the Green Sanctuary team. And another thank you, which is, I couldn't figure out what to wear today. This weather just keeps changing back and forth. I wasn't sure whether I should wear a coat or whether I should wear shorts. So I don't know about you, but boy, I tell you, I heard a couple people say that, ooh, what should I yank out of the closet this morning? So thank you that I got the right thing. I look pretty too, don't I? Okay, all right. Next week, join us. Reverend Christina is back. She's going to be talking about change. Change and renewal. Wow, that's going to be a good service. So join us next Sunday. And now, as our chalice is extinguished this morning, we extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world until we are together again.
Good morning. I'm Karen Pichette, and I'm a member of the Membership Committee, the Activities Committee, a little bit in RE, and the Green Sanctuary team, and happy to be a member of Emerson. There are many ways that we can all contribute toward a cleaner and viable future. One small way is to do our part in reducing waste by reusing and recycling whenever possible. You may or may not have noticed little blue recycling cans have recently made their way and been placed in the offices, classrooms, and in the sanctuary. Please, if you don't mind, dispose of your clean paper items and your used orders of service in these. And there are also larger bins at the back of the fellowship room where you can place recyclables as well. Thank you all for your continued efforts in this. And again, I do think of Mark also with this very small effort. We've sort of stepped up, a few of us have stepped in to do a little work that he has just always done. So happy to keep up the recycling efforts. In celebration of nature and the earth, the Green Sanctuary team invites you all to join us after today's service for fellowship and vegan, plant-based snacks. Go now in peace and take peace wherever you go.
Oh, you guys don't want to leave. Hey, 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 hey. Let's go, guys. Let's get something to eat. Follow the kids, follow the kids.